All right, it's time to start a new little mini series. We are still in S3, still talking about selectors, but we have to cover pseudo selectors. And there's a bunch of them. It's going to take a little series of short videos to cover these, but we are going to start with the one that everybody loves, the most fun one, which is the hover pseudo selector. Let's go ahead and dive in. Now, we have some cards on this page that we could absolutely apply hover styles to, but that would require knowing a bunch of other styling. We're not covering that until S4. That would be getting ahead of ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a little playground, a little sandbox. We're going to go up to the content hub right here. We're going to make a new page, call this S3, create pages. You're going to see S3 at the top. Go ahead and click the arrow to go there. Now we're in a little sandbox. We're going to delete this later. No big deal. Let's add a section. I want to hijack the container. I want to call this hover box. And I want to hit Command Enter, and I want to create a class called hover box, hover dash box, right? All right, get to that point right there. Now let's give it a little bit of styling, just some tiny little bit of styling. For example, let's give it some height. I want to right click this min height, and I want to click 50 VH. Now, if you have automatic CSS installed, all these mini GUI, this quick actions bar options, they're all going to be preloaded for you. If you're not using automatic CSS for some reason, there should be like a default style in there. You can put your own custom styles in there, but it may look different from what I'm doing here. The next thing that you're going to do, right click and just add like a base dark color to that box. Okay. So base dark, background color, we're good to go. What we want to do as our first experiment is make the box hover to where the background color changes from base dark to red. Now, this is where the beauty of Page Building 101 and Etch come in. Because if you're an Elementor user, Divi user, Webflow, blah, 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 you may think, because those are heavily abstracted interfaces, they hide the code from you. You might think they're doing some crazy voodoo stuff behind the scenes and that this must be so absolutely tremendously complicated. And I am going to demystify it for you. That is one of the benefits of doing all of this, is that we demystify it. What you might think in your head must be super complicated is actually insanely easy. It's insanely easy, okay? So let's go down to here. In the code, right? Oh my God, the scary place. It's okay, we're gonna live. We're gonna live. Not only are we gonna live, we're gonna be so much more empowered on the other side, okay? We're going to put an ampersand. We've covered this before. The ampersand is the me selector. It selects whatever the parent selector is. So in this case, it's just like I'm writing hoverbox again, except that would be dumb. It would be dumb to write hoverbox again in this case, because one, it's right there, okay? And two, if the name ever changes, right, I would have to come change this manually. Now, sometimes this is unavoidable, okay? As you're going to there's going to be an unavoidable scenario in just a minute that you're going to see. But if I don't have to, if I'm not forced to, I shouldn't do it. The ampersand is like a placeholder for the parent selector. And it's dynamic, right? It doesn't break. It's unbreakable. That's what we want to do. We want to do unbreakable things. So I'm going to do ampersand, colon is the syntax for pseudo selectors. Hover. Okay. Super easy so far. Put your curly braces. Now, all we have to do, watch this. We take the thing we want to change, which is already there, in this case, base dark background color, paste it into this block, and instead of base dark, make it say red. It's that easy, right? So we had a background color of base dark. When we hover, we want a background color of red. Let's zoom out. Demystified. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, okay? Now, you're probably saying, Kevin, I want it to be buttery smooth though. What is there some crazy math formula involved in making a smooth transitions? What? No. All right. You want to make a smooth transition? Now, when we get to S4, you're going to learn more about the transition property. There is much more to know, but I will give you a little shortcut that you can just get away with. Okay. It's not the best approach, but you can get away with it. Type transition. Did I spell it right? Transition, 0.3 seconds. Semicolon. Okay. The browser will actually handle all the rest. Okay. It'll automatically transition all properties. It'll do it with an ease timing function. Okay. You don't have to worry about any of that. Let's zoom out. Look at this. Buttery smooth. Again, I wouldn't say to do this like as oh, I learned how to do, okay. You didn't learn it yet. There's more to learn, but for now, this will work. Now the question is, can I do other things? Kevin, it must be, let's move the box, Kevin. When I hover, I want to move the box. That's got to be insanely difficult. Not really. Not really. Okay, so moving things, there's a word for that, and it's called translate. We're going to translate it. And this takes two values because there's two axes. There's a X and a Y, right? So we're going to go 20 pixels space 20 pixels. We're going to give it two values instead of one value. One for the X, one for the Y. Now I'm going to zoom out. I mean, can it get any easier? That is, I just love this, that we get to demystify some of this stuff for you, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a little pro tip, because if you notice, when I'm doing background color red, when I'm doing translate 2020, I can't see what I'm doing. And if you can't see what you're doing, it's very difficult to work, right? I can only see what I'm doing when I hover because these instructions are applied to a hover state, okay? Is there a way to lock the hover state where I can always see the hover state so then I can see what I'm doing when I'm styling the hover state? Yes. Let's right click, hit inspect, okay? This is going to come up. I can't zoom in on this, unfortunately, so squint, okay? Deal with it. So here's a hover right here. It says :hov. If I click that, I actually get a bunch of different states, and I can force any element state that I want by checking the box. And now that goes into hover mode, and I can minimize this. Don't close it or you'll lose what you just did, but you can minimize it. And now it's going to stay in its hover state. And I can say background color is purple. And I can say, well, we want a little bit less on the translation. And maybe we want to do something else and something else and something else. And then when you're satisfied, you go, okay, close the inspector. It goes right back to normal. And now you see the full effect that you are working on, okay? Just a little pro tip to put right there in your toolbox, okay? You'll be like, what is that guy's name? Manny, right? Like Manny?
Handy Manny.
Hola, Kelly.
Oh, hi, Manny.
Hi, Mr. Lopard.
Oh, hello, Manny.
Come on, Tools.
Y'all are going to be like Manny by the time you're done with PB101. All right, so last thing. I know you're going to ask, Kevin, that's fantastic. How do I change a child when the parent is the one that hovers, okay? All right, for this, let's go ahead, delete these styles. Get rid of the hover, get rid of the transition. It should go back to doing nothing. Let's put an image in there, okay? So click on image. Let's select an image from the library, okay? Fantastic. And let's put a class on it. So Command Enter, hover box, _image. Now we have a class on there. Let's go ahead and change the dimensions. Let's do the width, and I'm going to choose, let's come in and say 50%. Okay, let's do 50% on the width, and let's add some padding in here. Okay, so padding, we're going to go to the actual hover box, and you're going to see margin, padding. Let's right click this. You could choose any value in here that you want. I'm going to choose M. Okay, so we've got this image that's 50% width, and it is a little bit in the padded box. Okay, what we want to do is we want this inline size, this max inline size. Because if we look at this, inline size is 100%. But the maximum inline size, and I know this is difficult because we haven't done any styling yet. We're going to cover all this stuff when we get to S4. But you can see, like, max inline size. Inline size is essentially width. Max width is this token of var width 50. Well, I want the max width to be 100% when I hover, but not when I hover the image, when I hover the box. Now, there's two ways to do this, okay? I can go to the box. I can come down here, I'll zoom in again, and I can say, okay, when the hover box hovers, which we already did before, that's exactly what we did before, I want to do a space. What is a space? Descendant selector. Remember, I'm now going to select a child, and I'm going to say hover box image. Okay, now, I don't prefer to do it this way for a couple reasons. One, I find it difficult to remember all the names of the children, right? Which is very common. Okay. Number two is the styles. When I put them here, Remember, the image, the child is the thing that's going to be changing. It's the thing that's going to be doing something. My philosophy is, if I'm doing something to this element, its style should live with that element. Right now, what I'm doing is making these styles live with the parent. And that's just not super intuitive, right? So when I see an image changing or moving, especially in a visual development environment, my tendency is to click on the image. And when I click on the image, I want to see what's causing it to move. I'm not going to be like, oh, it must be the parent causing the thing to move, right? That's extra deduction that you have to do. And that extra deduction is confusing. You come back 6 months later, like that's just a lot of mental processing, right? How about we make it dumb? Like point, click, oh, instructions, right? Oh, the thing is moving. Let me click on it and see what's happening, right? That's the kind of experience that you typically want. So what we're going to do is we're not going to put it on the parent. We're not going to do this. We're going to do it on the child. But now, because remember, the child is the thing that's where the action's happening. So that's where the instructions should live. The hard part is that most people don't know how to do this. And by teaching you this, you're literally going to be in a very small society, because this is very poorly understood across the range of web development. So you might be a beginner right now. You might be an intermediate right now. You might be coming from Element or Divi or da-da-da-da. And I'm just going to tell you, I'm about to teach you a technique. You are going to know more than 98% of people in CSS land, okay? Just for now, I mean, this is going to get out there. It's going to propagate, okay? But just, feel good about yourself for a minute, right? It's good to feel good about yourself sometimes. Feel a little bit empowered. I kind of know a secret. A lot of people don't know, okay? Here's how this works. So you come in, and within the child, you can actually still select the parent. So you type hover box, and then you do hover, space, me. Me, there's the me selector again, okay? The ampersand, which is referencing this. So you can do this. Most people don't know you can do this from inside the child, nested inside the child. You can select a parent, not just select a parent, but a pseudo class on that parent, right? Hover, and then me, and then come in here. Now we're selecting the image when the hover box hovers. And we can say something like, so max inline size, right, of 100%. Max inline size of 100%. And now it is going to grow. And if we put the transition on here, 0.3 seconds, it is going to transition. Okay? Now, there are other things to know about transitioning dimensions specifically, okay? Width is a little bit easier than height. We're not going to get into all of that right now. That is property stuff. That is styling stuff. That is S4 stuff. But you have now learned about the hover selector, the pseudo selector called hover. You have learned how to do it like the quick and dirty way to do a transition. You have learned how to transition a child when the parent hovers. Notice I'm not hovering the image. I'm hovering the parent card. We're changing the child when the parent hovers. We're making that transition. And you learned a super secret CSS nesting trick of inverting the ampersand and being able to select a parent from within a child. That's phenomenal stuff. We covered a lot in this lesson in a very short amount of time. Pat yourself on the back. This is the benefit of PB101 and Etch specifically, being able to see under the hood, being able to touch and see the code and demystify all of this, okay? This is not rocket science. It's fairly easy stuff. You were just fooled. You were fooled thinking that these other tools were doing some sort of magic, when in reality, they're really not. And they were preventing you all this time from actually learning, okay? Congratulations. Let's keep going.